And that was the first time I think that the light bulb really went on, that this was something that I was going to have to do in order to grow my business and to give me a fulfilling life. Hi friends, I'm Katelyn Workman and welcome to my YouTube channel where I empower and encourage other photographers. Today I'm going to be sharing an important lesson that I learned from Katelyn James. Before I get into this, I want to make sure that you guys have grabbed my free posing guide. If you have trouble at all with your client experience and just making your couples feel comfortable and confident in front of the camera, or you ever get to a session and you just feel like stuck or just not confident, then you want to make sure you grab my posing guide. It's free for you guys today. The link is in the description. So pause this video and go grab that. It's going to just really help transform your business and it's free. So grab that. Now let's get into what I learned from Katelyn James. First of all, I could share many different things that she has taught me over the years as a leading educator in the photography world. But this little lesson that she taught me, this conversation that we had this past year, really just changed my perspective and it set me up for a lot of growth this year. And so I wanted to share this conversation with you. This video is going to be a lot more just like me sitting and having a conversation with you. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. I was on a Zoom call with Katelyn James and I asked the question, how do you know where to invest your money for your business? I said, I have this savings account for my business and it just never feels like it's full enough. And I just don't want to spend any money in my business. And whether that's on new gear or education, whatever it was, I just felt like I needed to just keep hoarding this money. And I didn't know how to determine what I could spend, when I could spend, all of those things. So I just asked her this question, how do you know where to invest your money? And she basically told me that if I was holding on too tightly to this security blanket or whatever, if I was holding on too tightly, yes, I wasn't going to let anything go, but I also wasn't allowing any room for growth. And it really hit me. And I got off the call, went to my husband, and I said, I need to hire an editor. And I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed because at this point I had a little baby, almost 3 now.
What? Oh.
But he was maybe 6 months old. I was just juggling everything by myself is what it felt like. And I think as entrepreneurs, we have this mindset of like, I can do everything by myself. And I built this business. I edit myself. I do everything myself. But do you guys know any major companies that are a one-man show? Because I don't. When you think of these people who are like leading people in their industries, think about like Steve Jobs. Like, would he only have one person in his entire company that is the CEO and deals with customers, like does all of those things? No, that's crazy. So why should we be expected to be the CEO, to be the main service provider, to be HR, to handle customer relations, and also to manage our own household, because I am also a mom. So to manage my entire household, which is a full-time job, and to manage my whole business with KWP, which is a full-time job. How on earth am I supposed to do all of those things by myself? But we wear this like a badge of honor, like, oh, I do everything by myself. I don't know why. I don't know why we do it, but we do. And I think that's kind of how I felt. It was like, well, I built this business by myself. I'm doing everything by myself. But then I realized that I wanted to scale my business. I think if you don't want to scale your business, if you don't want to grow, then this video is not for you. You can find something else to learn about, because what I'm sharing with you guys is something that's going to allow you to scale your business. What I realized very quickly was that she was right. Katelyn James was right. I couldn't hold on to this and like hoard all of this money away and not reinvest anything back in my business or anything back in myself and expect to grow and to scale my business the way that I wanted to. And so I got off that call with her. I said, I'm going to hire an editor, reached out to some friends and found a friend who I trusted, her editor that she trusted, and we quickly started working together. And I think that one holdup that people have with something like hiring out is that they think, well, I can do it better than anyone else. But that's not true. My editor, who edits for multiple other people, she's going to do a better job of editing than even I would. And of course, I still have control over the photos. I don't just send them off and she delivers them. You know, I edit my base images and I go through the gallery once she sent it back to me. And like, it's still very hands-on, but she saves me hours and hours of work. And that's a blessing to her family because she's able to stay home with her kids because she is editing. And so that was the first thing that I passed off. And the first time that I sent a gallery to her was very stressful for me. But I was sitting on the couch with my son in my lap, watching Peppa Pig, and I get the email that my gallery, it makes me tear up every time. But I get the email that my gallery is ready. And I quickly realized how valuable that time was with my son, who's growing really quickly. And I was able to have that moment with him because someone else was doing this task that they could easily do, and that was a blessing to her family. And that was the first time I think that the light bulb really went on, that this was something that I was going to have to do in order to grow my business and to give me a fulfilling life. Like, I don't want to be working all the time and not have any time with my kids. That's the whole reason I started this business, was to be with my kids. And it's also blessing someone else and their abilities. So editing was the first thing that I outsourced. I think that if you are at a point in your business where you see yourself wanting to grow and scale into a bigger business, and whether you make $10,000 a year and you want to make $30,000, or whether you make $30,000 and you want to make $100,000, whether you make $100,000 you want to make $500,000, if you want to scale your business in any kind of capacity, you're going to have to start outsourcing. And I'm going to just share with you a couple things that I outsource, and just share a little bit of advice for what to outsource, right? So one thing that I started outsourcing that has been a huge game changer for me, that sounds silly and it's really easy and really affordable for anybody to do, that is grocery delivery. It sounds silly, but think about how much time you spend putting together your grocery list, going through the store, picking out everything. If you have kids, taking your kids with you, that's like what, 4 hours at least grocery shopping by the time you drive to the store, pick out all the groceries, go through the checkout, come home, put them away. That's an entire like half of a work day that you've spent doing that. So I think it's $12 a month. I'll put a link in the description for what I use, but I think it's $12 a month. And I order my groceries. It takes me maybe 20 minutes because I just add a lot of the same things very often. And then while I'm in the middle of a work day or hanging out with my kids, they deliver them to my porch and we carry them in together, we unload them, whatever. So maybe takes me 35 minutes total versus 4 hours at least, plus making your grocery list, all of those things. So that's something really easy you can start outsourcing. Look at the things in your life every week that are taking up a big portion of your time, whether that's something that is work related or something that is home related, and look at what's taking up the most time and what you would be willing to pay to have someone else do them for you, right? So $12 a month, and I save at least 4 hours a week, which is however many hours a month. That's a lot of hours. That's like 2 full days of work that I'm saving. So that's one really easy thing. I do have a virtual assistant now who's wonderful, but I didn't hire her until this year. So I was 5 years into my business before I hired a virtual assistant. But that is something you can start really easily if you feel like you're being bogged down with emails and writing blog posts and doing social media. Like, there are people who do those tasks that you can pay that will be a blessing to them, that will also give you so much more time back and so much more freedom. Something else that you can outsource if you are a mom is childcare. Something I started doing this year, and it just gave me a lot more freedom, and it allows me to spend my time with my kids a lot more intentionally, because I know when they're home and they're here, I'm spending time with them, and there are certain times that I'm going to work. And yes, I do work with them home while they're playing a lot of the time, but I know that there's at least 8 hours a week that they're not here, that I can fully focus on building my business and growing my business without feeling like I'm neglecting them. If you can't afford childcare, you can maybe swap with a friend. So you watch their kids for a couple hours, they watch your kids for a couple hours. That's a great thing to do if you don't have a big budget for it. But I just would encourage you to, if you feel like you are ready to grow your business and you feel like there's just not enough time, or you just don't feel like you have the capacity to grow, look at what little things that you can delegate and outsource. I'm doing this now. I'm setting myself up to be able to grow and scale this business in ways that I would never have dreamed of if I was just doing things alone. And so I just want to encourage you that not only is it okay to outsource, but if you are at a point when you're wanting to grow your business, it's going to be expected. I told you guys I learned this lesson from Katelyn James. She was the first one that had a conversation with me that really catapulted all of these things I'm sharing. And look at the business that she's built and how many employees that she has, full-time employees that she has, and think about how much she's been able to grow and scale her business because she has those employees, right? Think of any major business, how many employees they have and how they're able to grow. So I just want to encourage you, look at your schedule. What's one small thing that you could outsource, whether it be as small as grocery delivery, or it be setting up a CRM like HoneyBook, which I'll put a link in the description for that too. That's another way that you can kind of outsource things, is just to set things up in automations, whether it be something like that or just as small as childcare or groceries. I just hope that you guys find this encouraging and know that this is a small step that you can take today to start growing your business. Have a great day.
Wow.
Right here. Say screen test for mom.
Can't. don't know how to be stronger.
Say hello, everybody.
Mama.